Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is October 20th, 2024, and altcoins, altcoins are finally starting to respond to Bitcoin's positive price action, and Bitcoin is assuredly on its way to 80K, okay? I'm going to reiterate the case for 80K. A lot of people that I've seen on my YouTube feed, I'll be honest, I haven't watched the entire analysis from, some other analysts, but I've seen people saying 100K and that we're going to go much higher than 80K. I'm going to tell you why that's not the case. So be very careful. That is a bull trap. That scenario, 80K is where you should be looking to take profit. So I'm going to reiterate that case, and I'm also going to show how altcoins are going mental and how, this is something that we haven't seen in 2 years, maybe, right? A little more than 2 years. So if that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Let's get started. First, I'm going to show you something that we don't see often. All right. First and foremost, we don't often see Bitcoin making positive price action on weekends. Okay. Bitcoin obviously closed around here on Friday, and now we're around here. Okay. So that's maybe not anything to write home about, because it's essentially we dipped down a bit and then we came back up, which you tend to see on the weekends, but you don't see that up move typically until Monday and markets open, right? Late Sunday, early Monday. Right now you're seeing it a bit early, okay? That's one indication of strong buying pressure in the market, right? Australia and Japan haven't yet started trading yet, and still Bitcoin is moving up. And I do expect that move to continue. So we're in an impulse right now, okay? We're in an impulse, and we've been in an impulse for exactly 10 days, okay? 10 days. And I want to show you on the smaller time frame what we just did, right? Mechanistically, what we just did in terms of price action. See, we came and I said this in my previous video, we effectuated something we call a running flat correction. And so it goes a little something like this: A, B, C. That C wave is short, right? Typically that flat correction has a C wave that goes the length of the A wave, more or less. But here the C wave is short. That shows strong buying pressure. In the case where you have such strong buying pressure, the B wave goes up a little more and the C wave is short, just like in this example. So we have a running flat correction, and that running flat correction led to some consolidation, which is what we did over the weekend, right? Consolidation after the actual move, and that consolidation is about to break out. So that's what we're seeing right now. The other thing I want to point out is, look, almost to the dollar, we are retesting crucial resistance, flipping it as support. Okay, you're doing it on a small time frame. Obviously you have to do this on a higher time frame, and this is one of my reasons for which I'm really adamant about the 80K Bitcoin target on the small time frame. You don't want to anticipate Bitcoin breaking 80K, because you can see this level right here, which is the midline of, let's go on the weekly time frame for those of you who don't know what this channel is. So on the weekly time frame, you can clearly see this channel has held Bitcoin for many years, okay? Ever since the end of 2022, you've been in this channel going up and down, up and down, up and down. So you came back down all the way to the bottom of this channel. And so what you did is working your way back from the bottom of this channel, and you came and retested on a small time frame the midline. The midline of a channel is just as important as the top resistance or the bottom support. So you are respecting that level of resistance now flipped into support, not completely, okay? And that's a good segue for why 80K, 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 80K. You should put this in your heads. Every single time there's a pump, what should you be asking yourself? The first question you should be asking yourself is, where do I take profit? Because how many times in the cryptocurrency markets do markets pump ridiculously and people are elated and they forget to take profits, or they don't have a profit-taking strategy? One of the reasons I go into Bitcoin so much, not because I like trading Bitcoin. I don't actually trade Bitcoin. I seldom, if ever, trade Bitcoin. I use Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large, because if Bitcoin sneezes, typically altcoins respond in kind. Okay, so if Bitcoin goes up, the whole market's going to go up. Bitcoin goes down, the whole market's going to go down. Obviously, there's a bit of decoupling that you see in alt season, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But generally speaking, once Bitcoin has found its 80K resistance and it starts distributing, do expect for the rest of the market to also distribute in kind. Now, what I see that I think is very low probability, people are saying this descending broadening wedge that we've been in, this megaphone pattern that we've been in, is a clear pattern, right? And so the pattern traders out there are taking this and saying, well, what if I just do something like this, right? That'll take me, right? It'll take you much higher. Let's do it with a line to see where it really doesn't serve you to do your analysis this way. Let's change that to white. So they're taking the height of this megaphone pattern and saying, see, look, Bitcoin is targeting 90K. Ooh, be careful. Be careful. Everything's possible, but I'll tell you why it's not probable. It's not probable for two main reasons. Firstly, whatever move that you've done, do expect to come back down here. Whatever move that you've done, do expect to come back down here. It is a principle that's tried and true in trading, in technical analysis. When you experience staunch resistance, which this is, it was staunch resistance for over 6 months, do expect it to have to be flipped into support, unless, of course, you expect to do a swing failure, in which case you can go as high as you want, because you're not even going to retest this. It's just going to be a fake out, and you're going to go back down, right? In that case, then it doesn't matter. But we're expecting, fully expecting, for this to be part and parcel of a larger move up, of a bull run, right? So in that case, whatever this move is, do expect it to come back down and retest previous resistance as new support. In order to do that, it has to have certain limitations on its height. It can't retrace beyond the phi ratio, or the 0.618. So if you recognize that the move we're currently in is an impulse, and we've been in that impulse for 10 days now, you'll start counting your impulse from this point right here, this capitulation to the bottom that we experienced on the 10th, I believe. Yep, the 10th of October. And you come up, and essentially you can only go as high as the phi ratio will take it, meaning you can only go as high as the move retracing to a maximum of the 0.618, because we know in an impulse, any impulse, according to Elliott wave theory, the maximal retracement in an impulsive motive wave is the 0.618, or the phi ratio. Okay, you can wick down below the phi ratio ever so slightly, but you cannot retrace to the 786 or the 914, for instance. That's a flat correction. That is not an impulsive or motive wave. Okay, So that's why 80K is pretty much the cap mathematically, considering this is the beginning. The past 10 days have been our impulse. Okay, so Bitcoin has been an impulse for 10 days. Altcoins now. I'm going to look at altcoins in a second. They're just starting to catch up. They're just starting to catch up, and they're doing so in a major way. So I said there are two reasons why. All right, one, the mathematical reason, right, for the retracement to be at the phi ratio. You can't go higher than 80K. You only have about 16 to 17% left on this move. The other reason, right, moments ago I showed you this channel that Bitcoin's been in since 2022. Okay, again, very clear support and resistances. Well, that is a level of resistance, the top of this channel. Do expect some resistance. It's a channel that we've been in since December of 2022. That is a multi-year channel. You're not just going to rip through it. Do expect for us to come meet that resistance and find some sort of retracement, okay? And remember, this retracement is not only meant to come back down to retrace this 6+ month descending broadening wedge, but also the midline of this channel. Mathematically, like statistically, probabilistically, don't expect for Bitcoin to go over 80K in this initial wave up. 80K should be not only the new all-time high, but also where you should expect Bitcoin to lose steam in this impulse, and then expect for, so the next top should probably more likely than not hit on the new moon, right? Because the new moon typically brings us our local market bottoms, or sorry, the new moon typically brings us our local market tops. The next new moon is on November 1st. We're now the 20th. So 12 days or so. So I would expect for Bitcoin to put in a 22-day impulse from November 10th, right? So basically, sorry, October 10th all the way to November 1st. So Pumptober is a real thing. October from here until the end, do expect for us to continue to go up on November. At the turn of November, expect for us to start coming down. What does that mean? That means that maybe what is likely is something like this. We go up and then we chop around, we start distribution. So we can go up and hit 80K in 5 days, right? Or 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. But then spend 6 days doing something like this, because you can't just, if you read markets, you understand, you don't just go like this. Every swing from high to low or low to high requires a consolidation. If that consolidation goes from high to low, that's a distribution. If that consolidation goes from low to high, that's an accumulation. This is basic Wyckoff analysis. So I expect maybe next 5 days, positive price action. Next 5-6 days, positive price action. Probably 5 days, because Saturdays are typically meant for sideways price action and dumping. So the next week, I expect it to be up all the way to 80K, sideways for 5-6 days, and that November 1st, whenever that is, I'm not really looking at the dates on here, but yeah, November 1st, I expect to signify local market top. And what's November 1st? That's a Friday. So Friday is November 1st. That's perfect, because typically once you go from Friday to Saturday, statistically you start going sideways and down. I expect that to happen like that. So that's really specific. But the takeaway should be from this analysis is that 80K is my target, my short-term target. The retracement is going to likely be 66. Sorry, what is it? Let me measure it again. I think it's 66 from this bottom right here. You pull the Fibonacci retracement tool. Yeah, 66.5, something like that. 66, low 66, right? So I expect for us to go from where we're at all the way to 80 back to 66, and then I expect some really, really cool shit. Okay? Because essentially, look what you're doing. This is basic pattern analysis 101. Breakout retest. Sorry. Let's try that again. Ooh, what happened to my pen? Is my pen dead again? All right, let's try. My pen has once again gone to Davy Jones's locker. Okay, whatever. Let's do this by hand. Breakout, retest, breakout. The actual breakout always happens on the second retest. The first breakout is what we call a fake out. It's not a fake out. It's just a breakout and a retest, which needs to be done because previous resistance has to be flipped into new support before continuation. But this right here is when you can expect Bitcoin and everything else to really run. Okay, that's the real pumps. Obviously, even now, you can see altcoins start to go crazy. As you can see here, DYDX up almost 30% for the day. When's the last time you saw a reputable non-meme shit coin go up 30% in a day? That's bull market alt season type stuff. You don't see that every day. This is a herald to alt season. Okay, you have Blur go up almost 20% for the day. We haven't seen that kind of price action in years. Prove it to yourselves. I'm on the 4-hourly time frame, and you can go all the way back to June. Just what we're looking at right now. You can go back even further. Just look at this chart. My pen's really gone. Okay, that is disappointing. It's just down, down, and down, and even the down is all choppy. This is clean upwards price action. This is the cleanest price action we've seen on this chart. I could rewind even more, but on this chart, ever since March of this year, this is the first clean move. This is where we make our gains. All right, this hasn't happened in a while. And yes, you can see it in your watch lists, but I'm going to show you this more clearly on the Bitcoin dominance chart, okay? Which on the high time frame, on the weekly time frame, is breaking down. It's been slow to break down, okay? But it's breaking down from a high time frame resistance, okay? This dotted line is a really high time frame resistance, okay? It's been in place since 2017, okay? Almost 10 years. Every time you hit this mark right here, you reject. That rejection heralds an alt season. This rejection heralds an alt season. This rejection should herald an alt season, right? Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin loses out to altcoins, or altcoins gaining against Bitcoin in market cap, right? So we've been at this resistance for some time, right? Last time we did this, it didn't take as long. We just went, hit the resistance, and dumped. This time, you can see we've really been playing at the resistance over and over and over again. And you have, you know, speaking of Wyckoff analysis, a Wyckoff distribution that's up and to the right, okay? That's a Wyckoff distribution nonetheless. It's a channel where you try to break out, you fake, or you fail. You try to break out again, you fail. Try to break out again. So you have 3 chances, 3 tries, and you're essentially making the quintessential head and shoulders bearish reversal pattern that most of you recognize, okay? Even though it's slanted, it's still that. This is what we're looking at right here on the daily time frame on the Bitcoin dominance chart. This has been in play since July of 2024, okay? That is months and months and months of just playing at this resistance, and it's finally starting to break down. So how is it going to break down? From the top all the way to the bottom, right? Because the bottom of this channel is resistant. Retest the midline most likely, okay? And then reject fully, okay? So if you want to look at a take profit for your altcoins using the Bitcoin dominance chart, how would you do this? Well, you would start to take profit once you hit this support. Because at this support, then Bitcoin should start gaining against altcoins, and the only way that happens is when Bitcoin is going down, altcoins are going down much more. Okay, so that's the point. This is, again, confluence. I would look at many different indicators. The Bitcoin dominance chart in and of itself is an indicator. So you can look and see, okay, when does Bitcoin dominance hit the bottom of this clear channel that we've been in for many months? At that point, what do you expect? Bounce off support, obviously. Okay, an interim bounce off support up to the next resistance, the midline of the channel. Sorry, I'm trying to put my pen on. Midline of the channel. Why is my pen not reacting? Let's try one more time. There we go. Midline of the channel, and then die. Okay, the big Bitcoin dominance drop happens at this point right here. Right here, once that midline is hit, and I think that coincides with the retest of our descending broadening wedge, our 66K retest, then the real death of the Bitcoin dominance chart, meaning altcoins really smoke Bitcoin. And that's, when it's really beautiful and, we make life-changing money. All right, so that's the Bitcoin dominance chart. You can see this as well, and last but not least, on the altcoin charts. I'm going to show you the total 3. The total 3 chart is everything in the cryptocurrency market minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm keen to looking at the total 3 right now because Ethereum is such a large market cap. I don't want for that to skew what I'm trying to show or what I'm trying to see. But as you can see here, very clearly, you're about to break resistance. Okay, this chart doesn't go on forever, but you can see it since 2017 on the weekly time frame. You've clearly put in an impulse, a retracement, consolidation. Impulse, retracement, consolidation. Impulse, retracement, consolidation. Next thing you know, you get another impulse, okay? And that other impulse, following the trend, should take you around here, around the 4.6 trillion mark. Do you see? It's a trend. All you're doing is hawking trends, okay? And the trend here is up, down, up, down, up. That's where you're looking to go. And on the smaller time frames, on the daily, for instance, what you can very clearly see is that altcoins did this and they formed a massive bull flag. All right, this is the flag, which is a falling wedge, a consolidation after that falling wedge, and you're now about to break out of that wedge. This is the breakout, the imminent breakout for alt season that we're spying. So that is beautiful. This is why you're seeing DYDX up 30% today, why you're seeing Blur up 20% today, and why, let's see if there's anything else. Alice is up 11%. Synthetics is up almost 9%. I mean, this is just my watch list. I only have a few altcoins, but I'm sure that there are a lot of other projects that are doing numbers today. Do expect that kind of price action to continue for the next week. Maybe a little more than a week, but I say at the very least, the next work week. So Monday through Friday, Monday the 21st through Friday the 25th, I believe is very likely to yield, a couple 100% gains on average for altcoins. Guys, if that sounds interesting to you and you got value then definitely like this video, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Consider buying me a coffee at the pinned comment below, and I will see you next time. Take care. Hope you're making money in this market. Bye.